So good day everyone. This is the continuation of the report about Brunner's constructivist theory. Jerome Brunner's constructivist theory is a cognitive learning theory that emphasizes how learners actively construct their own knowledge based on experience. Brunner believed that learning is an ongoing process in which individuals build on what they already know by engaging in discovery, exploration, and problem solving. So one of his theories is about discovery learning. Students learn new knowledge relevant to the domain and such general problem-solving skills as formulation rules, testing, and gathering information. Discovery learning is a key component of Brunner's constructivist theory, emphasizing that students should actively engage in learning by exploring, experimenting, and solving problems rather than passively receiving information. Through this approach, students construct their own knowledge by discovering concepts, relationships, and principles relevant to a subject. So, for example, imagine a science class where students are learning about gravity. Instead of teacher directly explaining Newton's laws, they drop a subject of different sizes and materials from the same height, observe and record how fast they fall, discuss patterns and form conclusions about how gravity affects objects. Then lastly, compare their findings to Newton's principle. This hands-on approach allows students to construct their understanding of gravity through exploration rather than being told the answer outright. So next is theory of instructions. Brunner's theory of instructions outlines how teaching should be structured to facilitate learning. It consists of four key components. So first is predisposition to learn. Brunner's believed that any subject can be taught at any stage of development in a way that fits the child's cognitive readiness for learning. This refers to a learner's readiness, motivation, and curiosity to engage in learning. Runners believe that learning is the most effective when students are intrinsically motivated and find personal meaning in the subject. Example in a science class. Instead of simply telling students that objects fall due to gravity, the teachers might show a video of astronauts in space and ask, why do they float? What's different from Earth? So, by sparking curiosity, students become predisposed to learn about gravity, making the lessons more engaging and meaningful. So, second is structure of knowledge. This refers to the ways in which a body of knowledge can be structured so that it can be most readily grasped by the learner. Brunner emphasizes that knowledge should be organized in a way that makes it easier to understand. He believed that in teaching underlying principles rather than the facts, so students can apply their learning in different contexts. So, for example, in math, instead of just memorizing multiplication tables, students learn the concept of repeated addition. For example, 3 times 4 is the same as 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. This deeper understanding helps them apply multiplication to real-world problems, like calculating prices while shopping. So the third is effective sequencing. Presentation of lessons in increasing difficulty. Brunner's proposed the topic should be taught in a logical sequence, starting with simpler ideas and gradually increasing in a complexity. So for example, in an English lesson, students first learn simple sentences, then compound sentences, and finally complex sentences with dependent clauses. By revisiting and expanding the topic over time, students build a deeper understanding. Fourth is reinforcement, rewards and punishments that should be selected and paced appropriately. Brunners believe that learning is strengthened when students receive meaningful feedback and opportunities to apply what they've learned. However, unlike behaviorists who focus on rewards and punishments, Brunner emphasizes cognitive reinforcement, where students can find satisfaction in solving problems. So, for example, in history lesson, students are asked to debate the causes of World War II based on evidence. Instead of simply getting a grade, they receive constructive feedback and apply their learning in real-life discussion. Categorization. Bruners believe that perception, conceptualization, learning, decision-making, and inferences all involve categorization. Categorization is central to how people perceive the world, learn new concepts, make decisions, and draw inferences. He argued that humans organize knowledge by grouping similar objects, ideas, or experiences into categories, which helps simply complex information and aids in problem solving. So, for example, teaching animals in science. A teacher introduces the concept of animals classification to elementary students. So the activity is sorting animals. So the first thing to do is the teacher provides students with pictures of different animals. For example, lion, eagle, shark, then frog. Second, the students group the animals based on their observation. Example, animals with wings, animals with four. Third is the teacher then introduces the scientific classifications. Example, mammals, bird, fish, amphibians. Fourth is students discuss characteristics of each group and infer why certain animals belong to a category. Then finally, they apply their understanding by classifying new animals based on the rules they've been learned. So, how it is categorization? Students use perception to notice the similarities. They form concepts by defining groups. They learn by organizing knowledge into structured categories. Then, they make decisions about which category each animal belongs to. Then, they use inference to classify new animals based on known patterns. So, there are three kinds of categories. First is identity categories. These are formed by grouping objects or concepts based on shared defining attributes or features. These features are often easily observable and can be used to distinguish members of the category from non-members. These categories are often based on inherent characteristics. For example is red objects. The defining attribute is color red. This category includes apples, firecrackers, roses, and anything else that is red. Or mammals. The defining attributes are warm-bloodedness, having fur and hair, and producing milk to feed their young. This category includes human, dogs, whales, and bats. Second is equivalent categories. Equivalent categories are created by establishing rules or relationships that allows you to combine or equate different categories. These rules often involve logical operations, transformations, or shared functional rules. So for example, things that are edible. This category combines many different identity categories, like fruits, vegetables, meats, based on the shared function of being able to be eaten. Then lastly is the coding system. Coding systems are used to categorize and organize sensory input or information in a structured way. They often involve assigning symbols, codes, or labels to different categories to facilitate processing, storage, and retrieval of information. These systems are crucial for communication, information management, and understanding complex systems. For example, is traffic light. The coding system uses color red, yellow, and green to represent different instructions for drivers. Another example, zip codes, a numerical coding system used to organize mail delivery based on geographic location. Conclusion: Brunner's theory highlights the importance of structured learning where concepts build progressively, ensuring long-term retention and understanding. So that's the end of my report. Thank you for listening.